Dudes to Dads is a podcast to help men understand and navigate the transition of being a single dude into a family man. How do we make sense of it all? Well, we probably won't be able to, but let's go ahead and have some fun trying.
And we are back.
We are back.
I'm Jason Kreidman.
I'm Alan Bush.
And this is Dudes to Dads. Now, Alan.
Yes.
Another week.
Yes.
So here's what happens. You don't have kids yet.
Right.
But there's a thing called sibling rivalry.
Okay.
And my son understood and saw that his sister was on the last episode.
Yeah.
So guess what?
Uh-oh.
I've got to be on an episode
You got
again.
a special guest.
So as now a veteran of the Dudes to Dads podcast, we welcome, what's your name?
Kayson.
And how old are you now? Because I think the last time you were
7.
You were 7. So how old are you now?
8.
So you had a birthday recently, right?
Yes.
Happy birthday, brother.
Thank you.
I think we even mentioned your birthday on the show and talked about how awesome it was.
And how Michael Jackson came over.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I saw a video of it. It was really cool.
It was amazing.
Kayson is also an expert at Michael Jackson. He knows
Yes,
more
I
songs probably than I do.
He does.
Yes.
That's my generation.
Yes, I know more than 100.
Did he have 100 songs? Did he?
I'm pretty sure.
Pretty close.
Are you sure? He's the king of pop.
What is
That's
your
right.
What is your favorite Michael Jackson song? Can you pick one? That's a tough one.
I don't know, probably
He's gonna go like B-side too. You know.
what?
All right. Well, we'll come back.
They
to
don't
it.
care about us.
What is it?
I'm just saying bad.
Bad?
The album
song
itself,
bad.
or
Yeah.
the song?
The song bad.
Song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Or maybe Smooth Criminal, I'm not sure.
That's a good one. Yeah, both of those are good.
Okay.
Well, so if we have Michael Jackson trivia at any point, he will. He will be
Kayson
the
will be on
expert.
my
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So this episode, now I will take the caveat that I experienced maybe some of these things, but that's not why we generated this episode. This was just it came about through multiple things because I was trying to brainstorm on some topics that some friends had and some meetup guys had talked about.
Yeah.
So with my kids, I at least wanted to get Kayson's input. I thought it would be a good topic, but it's picky eaters.
Yeah.
19 tips to deal with fussy kids at mealtime. So
wow.
now, Kayson happens to be not that fussy, not that picky when it comes to food.
You like a lot of different types of foods? Yeah.
So, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to suggest some tips and then get some feedback from Kayson as well if these are things that would work.
Okay, cool.
So, here's the one overriding thing as well, that being hungry as a kid won't make them necessarily overcome a fear or anxiety if they have that as it relates to food. So there's a couple different levels. As I started looking into this more, realizing that there are kids that are certainly taught behavior.
Okay.
Like as an example, like the parents give in to whatever they're eating or whatever. There's also genetics that does come into the palate as well. So
Sure.
there's a genetic component.
Some people like certain types of foods.
Correct. I mean, you can tell even as a very small baby, the baby will like spit out the food or, there's something with the taste that they just don't like.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, like as in the case for Kayson, he ate almost everything we fed him.
Wow. Okay.
As a baby. So we're like, okay, that's pretty open. Now, not all parents have that. We'll call it a luxury or that,
Sure.
That openness. So, so that was something. But we did do something that I'm now realizing because of reading some of this, that it wasn't necessarily a good idea because it always said, oh, just starve the kid. Like if they're not eating what you're eating, then just starve them. Being very disciplined.
They'll eat it eventually.
Yeah. And when I mean starve, meaning like not for that long, but the idea is saying, hey, if you're not hungry, fine.
For sure.
Then you're not going to get something else.
Yeah.
But this is what's for dinner. And so there was, so in doing some of the research, I was looking at it and they said, you know what, that's not a good idea because it could add to the anxiety of that they might have regarding food or regarding something like that. So, that's why I said there's a lot of maybe different types of situations where like one is a learned behavior, the other one is a natural, the palate. So what we're trying to do is introduce foods and also our behavior as adults on how we can help the situation and make it a little better.
Cool.
Because it is a very common thing that people deal with. Just the kids won't eat something, they get frustrated, the parent gets frustrated. I mean, and certainly we did deal with this at some level. I just not necessarily at the level of something else or some other people. Yeah. So,
Kayson, you like a lot of different types of foods, yeah?
Yes.
Vegetables?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. I see you eating a lot of vegetables.
Yeah, they were munching on carrots.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the first one. Respect your child's lack of appetite.
Okay.
So if the child says, listen, I'm not hungry, then don't force food to them. Now, all of this has a caveat, a disclaimer, saying if your child is not healthy, then that's a different situation. Right. But if they're routinely missing meals or something, just because you're hungry doesn't mean the child's hungry, or just because and that's something that's weird because you especially if you've never been responsible for somebody else, it's you're like, oh, I'm hungry. They must be hungry too.
Sure.
Or vice versa. Like they're hungry and you're like, well, I'm not hungry right now.
Yeah.
It's you have to have that respect for they're their own person. They're their own being. Now, when it's a baby, it might be a little different.
Yeah.
But you have to respect that and don't force them to eat the food. Or bribe them as well. Like, hey, you're going to, if you eat this, you'll blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So that's the first one. Second one, make food less scary.
What would be an idea of a scary food?
That would make kids want to eat it more.
Right. Because it's sometimes, especially if they look at something and they're just like, I don't like the way that looks. Like let's say like sushi or, although.
I love sushi.
I know
you love sushi too?
But the idea that like for some kids, they look at something and just, I don't like the way it looks.
Yeah.
So
a squid.
One of the ideas is to go in steps.
Yeah.
And so that's first, let them look at it.
Yeah.
Second, maybe let them smell it.
Yeah. That works.
And then eventually, so there's like this process of then, eventually then, have them taste some.
That works with my cat too.
Right.
Totally. You want to smell it? You don't like it? Right. Okay. Then don't stop asking for it.
Right.
But in this case, it actually works better. The opposite way.
So, and that might be, wow, it just smells bad. If you want them to try some certain cheese and all of a sudden, it's horrible. The other thing is small portions.
Yeah.
So in our house, we have a tendency to try to do that where it's, hey, this is the portion and it's small. And if you want more, there's more. Versus like thinking, all right, they've got to eat this huge plate of food. And that's what you were served. So that's what you have to eat. So now, in Kayson being 8, he's starting to get quite an appetite where, it's hard to predict the proportions that they're eating. Yeah. Because there are some things like, what did you have the other day? Like we went out to fast food or to a burrito place and it literally had like 4 burritos. It was like, okay, he just kept on eating. And so I'm not going to police that and just like, no, you're full. I mean, he's hungry. Like, I can't really do that.
Growing boy.
Right. So, but we started out with, okay, order 2.
Yeah.
And if you need more, you can get more. So it's that's the thing. Same thing at home. If you're eating something.
Well, and especially because you're pretty active, right? You do a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. You do martial arts?
Yes.
Yeah. What kind of martial arts do you do again?
Hawaiian Kempo.
Jiu-jitsu.
Tiger Claw Karate.
That sounds cool.
I guess your
sister does it with you, yeah?
The 4th. We do one more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure what.
There's so many. You do them all in the same class?
It's like a combination.
Combination stuff? Yeah. Okay. But you're pretty active during the day too, like at school. And
you do running club?
After school. Yeah. So I can imagine why you have an appetite, right?
Play a lot of running games.
Playing a lot of running games, yeah.
Or just riding your bike or whatever.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, so of courst that's the other part of it too is
staying active.
Kids that are going to be more active might be hungrier. Yeah.
Sure.
With racing a 12-mile-per-hour go-kart.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, his friend has a go-kart and he rides his bike and then they race.
I usually win.
Yeah, you're pretty fast.
That's all right. You'll catch up, right?
So number 4, explore foods without eating. Okay. So in other words, talk about food.
Yeah.
Learn about food without them feeling the pressure of eating. So maybe that you go to like a market or you go to like a farmer's market or something like that where there's all kinds of different kinds of foods or even the supermarket.
For sure.
And you just talk about the foods with the idea that they're not getting pressure to eat it. It's like, oh, hey, what color is this? Or what is it? You know what this one is? Smell it, and it's just becoming more comfortable with food.
So do you go shopping with your parents or your dad or your mom?
Actually, I go most of the errands with her nanny Chanel.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Because, if we're working,
yeah.
Then she's able to take care of that responsibility.
Yeah.
And so then we have the freedom to spend the time with them.
For sure. Yeah.
Rather than us doing the errands.
Yeah. Cool.
But you guys don't like errands.
No, we do not.
Neither do I. Really.
Well, sometimes we've actually been starting to do a little bit of what you did when you told me when you were little.
Like you get to go find the food and stuff? Yeah.
Except we don't get to go find it. Like she doesn't give us the list and we get to go find it.
But you're learning how to contribute and help.
And
Yeah, that's cool. So number 5, you plan the menu. So that's you're not allowing the child to dictate what you're having. In other words, you don't say, what would you like for dinner tonight? That doesn't come out of your mouth.
Right.
It may come out and say, would you like this or that?
Right.
Or, giving them an option, or, hey, there's 3 options for dinner. Which one would you choose? That might, that's okay. But basically, you're making it. And then also, as part of you planning the menu, plan existing things that that they're going to like with potentially new items. So like if your kids love pasta. Yeah. But you want to introduce them to like a meatball or chicken or something like that. So you give them the pasta and then you add in the chicken, like a little bit of chicken or something. So it's just, you're combining it with the things that are going to be A-okay. Yeah. with something else that, they might
be. Kind of ease them into it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Another one, number 6, stick to a schedule. That's a really important thing. So what happens is, and especially when the child's younger and they start eating more, when it's a baby or infant, it's kind of hard. It's feeding on demand. They're just growing. But as the schedule becomes a little bit more regimented, it's nice to know, okay, this is breakfast time typically. They have a snack at this time. This is lunchtime. And once they get into school, that happens. Sure. But prior to school, you still want to have that regimen versus just like, oh, whenever they eat, they eat.
And it goes back into when we were talking about having regular scheduled meals like dinner time,
right?
And with the entire family.
Well, and what we would find was a little bit difficult when they were younger was when dinner time came, it was too late. So in other words, for us, we wanted to have dinner at like 6 o'clock, let's say. They were really hungry at 4. So if we gave them a snack, though, they weren't hungry at 6 o'clock. Right. So we had to sort of combine it. So there was times then we tried to get, have dinner a little bit earlier, or we give them a snack earlier or something like that because, they're on a different schedule than you are. Yeah. Not, most of the time. But if you do want to try to have that meal together, sure, that's what you do. Or, the other option is they just wouldn't eat during dinner, but they're still part of the dinner. Sure. They're still hanging out or, doing whatever. Right. So another thing with the schedule is if they do get snacks, that be prepared that's going to potentially ruin the meal. So when they're thirsty, give them water because what will happen is like when a child's thirsty and you give them juice or milk or something, that's somewhat filling. Yeah. So then they're not hungry for dinner either. Right. So like if you do a juice in the afternoon, they're not going to, the water it may quench the thirst. It's not going to be as filling for then going to dinner. Yeah. So that's something also that, you can watch out for. Yeah. Number 7, talk about the food's color, shape, or smell. Don't talk about the taste of it. Okay. So that would be something, Kayson, maybe where you've never had a food before. And sometimes the kids might say, well, I don't like that. And they're simply judging it based on how it looks. Sure. I mean, that's it. So you could have talked about how it looked or done something, right? Versus, or it doesn't smell good. I mean, you can talk about different aspects of it versus, oh, this tastes really great. Yeah. You're just talking about, hey, check it out. It's green. It's your favorite color. Yeah. Or whatever. Sure. And eventually they become a little bit smart. Then they realize that, like, I know that's green, but it's broccoli. Like, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I remember there was a comedian that said something about even the way some foods sound, like squash. Right. Yeah. It sounds like someone sat on it. Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Do you like squash? You like squash?
No.
No? Have you had it?
Yes.
Yeah.
What about
not a fan of
broccoli?
it. Broccoli.
I do like broccoli.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do.
I always
You
like
you
broccoli,
eat
too.
You eat a decent amount. You like carrots. You love carrots.
I love carrots.
Celery.
Look at these teeth.
You inherited my teeth. That's both a good thing and a bad thing. I had many years of braces. And then as an adult, though, it's great. People always comment on your smiles.
Yeah.
But when you're a kid, you're growing into them. The other thing is now number 8, make it fun. So I remember then, so when we cut, some of your foods, you love that. Like when we cut them into like a little star or something like a cucumbers or something like that. And they were cut up.
I loved that.
Yeah. So that was cool when you can take little cookie cutters or things and make shapes out of the food, making it a little bit more fun. You could also, when you make, what was the pancakes you had, or like, you had like Mickey Mouse.
Oh, Nana's Mickey Mouse pancakes?
Yeah, the Mickey Mouse pancakes or waffles. And, that's just fun. Like, you put things in shapes. I remember as a kid, my friend's parent used to make airplane waffles or airplane pancakes. And like they had all these different molds and things like that.
Yeah.
It was just fun. It was cool. Like, granted, you like pancakes anyways, but it made it more fun. So the idea that you might be able to make some foods that aren't as palatable that way, you could make them a little bit more fun. They might be inclined.
My grandmother made penguins out of eggs and carrots and olives. So like an olive head with the carrot beak and as an egg. And then she made them like that.
Yeah. If you saw little figures, you'd love that. Yeah. Right. You'd you do it. You're playing with my hand. That's cool. So number 9 is don't push too hard. So do you think so what happens at our house, I'm trying to think, if they're not liking it or not wanting to eat it, we used to probably be more inclined, I think, in the beginning of saying like, well, you got to eat it. It's what's for dinner, versus now it's like, okay, do you feel like you're forced to eat?
Not very much, but you guys do say, like, if you don't eat this, you have to eat it for breakfast.
We have said that.
And then for lunch, and then...
Yeah. So if it's something that's brand new and we know that it's not edible for them, not going to force it.
Right.
But the idea that it's something that we've had, they like, and they're just choosing because they know that there's either a dessert or something else, or there's something else in line, or there's other foods that they like better. We may be inclined to say, well, maybe you'll have that for breakfast, or maybe you'll have that for lunch instead.
Like sushi or pizza.
Well, yeah. And most of the time, we don't have as many battles as we used to. And I think that's also age and maturity and everything else. And then also us know, you as a parent, you get to know what they will and desire to eat, and so you try to create the menu that's also healthy and incorporate some of that food.
So, like, if you didn't eat your broccoli, would you have broccoli cereal in the morning?
No.
Okay, that wouldn't actually happen. Well, would you have to eat in the morning? Have you ever done that?
Huh?
Not broccoli.
No, not broccoli.
No,
Definitely not broccoli.
But some things.
Who does like broccoli?
I do.
I like broccoli.
You do?
Yeah.
I don't.
Your sister does.
A little. I do. A little.
Yeah.
But I don't like 100%. I mean, I'm not a giant broccoli fan.
Okay.
You'll eat it, though.
Sometimes.
Gotcha.
Right. So number 10, have your child help with the selection of the foods and of the fruits and vegetables. So do you like, when we go to the store, you like helping picking stuff out?
Sometimes.
Yeah. You like being a part of it and participating in that. It makes it going to the store a lot easier. And then also you get to feel faster. And you get, well, not all the time. You get to feel like you're also a part of it. I know for my daughter, she loves, which is the next one, have them help with the cooking, number 11.
Yeah.
So my daughter loves doing that. And, we make the guacamole or my wife will make muffins. She loves to help out in making muffins. And so then, of course, when somebody's eating it, she says, I made those.
Yeah.
Or you're eating the guacamole. I made the guacamole. So then, it's a little bit more enjoyable, and they'll be more inclined to eat it themselves.
Sure.
They're like, they want to know what they just made.
Participated in it.
Yeah. I just, first of all, I picked that out. Yep. I got to make it. I'm going to eat it.
Yeah.
Right? And there's more inclined to do that. So this is an interesting one too. the term add instead of replacing. And what I mean by that is, let's say, for example, the child likes pasta with butter instead of pasta with sauce, which is a common thing.
Sure.
You make the butter noodles or pasta or whatever, and then maybe you add a little tiny corner where there's red sauce.
Gotcha.
Rather than replacing the whole thing, you're just like changing it up. Or maybe, they were saying like, the child loves green grapes, and you add a red grape in there.
Right.
Like just to change things up and to try it. Like, oh yeah, okay, I'll try one or two things. And you're usually, if we introduce something brand new, usually you'll try one or two, right, Kayson?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you'll usually and then go, I don't like it, or I'll try it.
Except for mushrooms.
Except for mushrooms. See, the things that the kids don't like is pretty common.
Don't like them.
Like it's not like I don't like chicken,
right?
Or it's very common, like mushrooms
or I
and
don't
olives.
Like pizza.
Yeah, nobody's going to say that.
Whoever said that in life?
Yeah. Pizza's horrible, said nobody ever. Right, exactly. So just adding it, and instead of trying to replace it, you just add something that's a little bit of a variety. 13, you have to eat the good foods yourself. So that's something in our house that we try to do, where mom and dad try to eat well so that the children see that we're eating well.
Right.
Monkey see, monkey do.
Right.
Yeah.
It's one thing where you're saying, hey kids, you've got to eat this, and then you're eating something different. Something like, or you're having dessert and they're not.
Up, yeah.
Right. Or the kids, that kind of thing. Well, you're not having dessert tonight, and then you're sneaking and having a piece of chocolate.
Right.
That's not fair. Right.
Exactly.
Great way of saying it.
Yeah.
Be creative. Number 14, be creative. So there's Jessica Seinfeld, Jerry Seinfeld's wife.
Yeah.
She had a book, Deceptively Delicious.
Okay.
And basically what it was, and I mean, it's still there, but it was very popular for a while. It was common meals and common things that you make, but you fill them or put vegetables and healthy stuff in it. So as an example, it might be like chocolate chip muffins or whatever, but you add like mashed up cauliflower or something in it. Okay. So you're adding various foods. What's up?
Or like that pizza that mom made with the vegetables.
With the cauliflower crust.
That was horrible.
I've had that before, by the way. The cauliflower crust.
Yeah, I don't like that.
You didn't like it? I thought it was okay. I wouldn't eat it all the time, but
it's got mushrooms and other things in it.
Yeah, I prefer a regular pizza though.
You like regular pizza too.
Yeah, but sometimes that's okay once in a while.
No.
So, but that's something where you can be creative about it. You can, just like the shapes and everything else, but you can be a little bit deceptive and maybe adding some healthy things to something in which they don't know.
Yeah.
You're raising your hand. It's
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, what's up?
Like if I had food at lunch at school, I could find some, and I had some like of those little cookie cutters, like those little vegetable cutters. I could make shapes and maybe make a Michael Jackson, a mini one.
A mini Michael Jackson?
Maybe we can find a Michael Jackson cookie cutter.
That would be awesome.
That would
be.
The
Thriller cookie cutter set.
I'm sure Amazon has something. It's like $400.
No.
Yeah, I know. We'll check out it. Hey, that's a good idea. Michael, everything you eat is going to be Michael Jackson too. Yeah. So
Michael Jackson pizza.
I know. And so keep focused. That's another one, number 15. So no TV, electronics. Anything that is distracting, as my child is getting distracted right now. Anything that is going to keep them from being present in the moment. And so TV will absolutely do that. I mean, that's something where, not only just the advertisements,
but the shows.
Yeah.
TV, electronics, anything like that's going to be a distraction. So we don't eat meals in front of the TV.
Right.
Never. We used to have our Friday night because we'd watch a movie. While we eat. Yeah.
Friday night.
But yeah, we it's a distraction, and there's no phones at the table, so the adults have to abide by it also.
Or hats.
Or hats. Plenty of rules in our house. But that's something. If the child is already picky or or fussy about food, you don't want anything else distracting them. You know, you sort of, here's the task at hand that you want them to eat. So that's kind of why we do that, right? So everybody focuses on that. Number 16, dessert is not a reward.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
Sure.
A lot of people use dessert as a reward, saying, oh, if you eat all this, you'll get dessert.
Right.
So what sort of the experts are saying is like, you know, you don't withhold the dessert, like, you know, oh, you're not eating this, you don't get that. Basically, you try not to reward with it either. It's just either it's part of the meal or it's not part of the meal, but that's a hard one. It's a really, really hard one. So what we've done, and they've actually suggested, is you make desserts, 1 or 2 nights a week. And that's the reoccurring thing. So in our house, we've done that on the weekends.
Friday and Saturday.
Right.
Friday and
so
Saturday.
Friday
Not Sunday, since that's a school night.
So that's
Right.
So it stopped.
sense.
It also alleviated, like, can we have ice cream or can we have dessert? Like, you know, that whole question that happens. Say no, it's Friday and Saturday. Now, there might be special occasions or something that's happening, and we do that. But in general, there's no push and pull and argument on the weekends. It's just
Right.
like, that's part of it.
Yeah.
So, you know, and the kids know that too. And so that is a big one. I mean, we could probably do a whole episode, and I can learn a lot too. And most parents would probably appreciate that the dessert thing, because the kids just love either the ice cream, the push pop, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You can also try to make it somewhat healthy.
Slurpees.
Yeah. But like the Yonana.
Yeah.
They love the Yonana.
What's a Yonana?
Except it's a little healthy.
Right.
Because
It's just fruit.
just frozen fruit with ice.
No, there's no ice. Remember, it's just frozen.
It's frozen.
Right.
But
Yeah. We talked about it on a previous episode. That's
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I never
so
had
that's-
one. I want to have one now.
it's good.
It's good? Yeah.
Have one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and so that's the other thing too, is you can make the alternative a little bit healthier, so that if it is fruit, I mean, because even fruit has sugar in it that actually, you know, like fulfills the palate a little bit with that. I mean, so having that as at the end of the meal, and
Right.
there's, you know, other cultures and countries have that. That's what they have at the end of the meal is fruit, you know?
Yeah.
So that sugar is sometimes what people crave. So that's something you can do. Number 17, and this one is interesting because I see all kinds of this, is do not be a short order cook. And basically that's, you know, if you have kids that have different palates and different things, you're making 4 meals. You know, for some people, I mean, I guess if that's the way they want to do it, for my family, there's no way that we would do that. It's just, I can't imagine the pressure and the time and the effort to be able to do that, you know? So we make a meal. This is the meal for the family. You certainly have to take into consideration what everyone likes or doesn't like, but that's sometimes why you might have, you know, 1 or 2 options where then they can choose from.
Right.
So like maybe there's 2 different vegetables and you're expecting that they're at least going to have one. You know, hey, we're having broccoli and carrots. Would you like a little bit of each? Right. Would you like a little bit of each or one of those? You know, like which, and so at least they have a little bit of say in what it is that they want and what they're going to eat.
Right.
You'd like that. I mean, that we would give you a choice, right? Rather than just saying, this is what you got to eat.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's saying, eat this right now.
Yeah. Well, I would never say that.
Maybe.
Really? No.
I'm kidding.
The other one is the night number 18. Think long term. You know, habits don't change overnight. You got to be patient and consistent. So, what's one of our rules for bad food?
Eat good food before bed.
Yeah.
Eat good food before bed.
Eat good food before bed.
Okay.
So we've just instilled, that's one line,
Yeah.
but over and over and over and over again, like, hey, if you're going to eat bad food,
You have
it's
to eat
cool.
good
Like,
food.
that's okay sometimes. You just got to eat the good food first.
Gotcha.
That's exactly what I just said.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you did. I put a slash on it.
Yeah.
Before we're in a podcast, we can pretend things.
You're right. You're absolutely right. So yeah, the good food before bad, you know, you're thinking long term of teaching them these habits. You know, it's not just what's happening right now. You know, it is a long-term process. And so you got to sometimes think about it. You know, sometimes you don't want to battle, but at the same time, you need to be consistent.
Right.
You know, that consistency is whether it's the time that you're eating, the health of the meals, the decision on desserts, whatever that is, be consistent throughout all of it. That's probably another one that we, you know, didn't really necessarily say, but it's kind of overriding among all of those things.
Right.
Is just be consistent.
Sure.
And then the last item is number 19 is if you are really having difficulty and you feel like, the child, even from a nourishment standpoint or allergies, get professional help, and that's where, that becomes a little bit more serious. There are people who are professionals with nutrition and this, even getting children to eat and try things.
Yeah.
But certainly, that's going to come into play where they might have an allergy, they might have an issue, or, or even an anxiety about food. Mm-hmm. That is something that's real, where the child really is kind of scared to eat certain things or scared of food. Maybe there was a traumatic experience. Maybe they got sick on something. So you have to be a little empathetic to that and understand that in order to, hopefully progress forward with it.
Yeah.
So do you have any other tips for our friends of how to get kids to eat when they're picky? Anything else?
Being nice, actually. That's everything I have.
Being nice.
Be nice.
So the parent being nice.
Like not forcing them to eat it and trying to find a way to make them want to eat it.
How do you do that?
And rather it... maybe you could change the shape of it or something.
Like you said, like we were saying. So that would work for you, changing.
Yeah, changing the shape into something they like, and maybe that'll help them want to eat it more.
Okay, that's a good one.
Or maybe they might think it's a superpower, and if they eat it, they'll get that power to do it.
So trick them.
Yeah.
You're saying to trick them, the kid. Okay, yeah, that could work too. I guess we could trick them.
We could.
You always have awesome input, Kayson. I appreciate that.
I am awesome.
I know. Well, do you think I brought you in here because you weren't awesome?
No.
No, I wanted you to add awesomeness to the podcast.
All the Criedmans are awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course.
Of course.
Yes.
I'm the awesomest of all.
You are the awesomest. Okay.
I don't want to brag, but it's true.
But you are.
At 8, you're allowed to.
Yeah, you're allowed to.
Yeah, I am.
Well, that's awesome. So getting some feedback would be awesome as well.
Exactly. Podcast at dudesadads.com.
Twitter.
Dudes to Dads.
Facebook.
Dudesadads.com.
Is that it? Are we on any other social channels?
iTunes.
There you
Kayson,
go.
You're right.
Good.
You can listen to it on iTunes.
Or you can do there is an app called Podcast.
There is.
Yeah.
Also, maybe you could do a little project on iMovie,
Okay.
Huh.
like I do.
And put the podcast in the background?
Yeah.
That'd be cool. So
And you can put that video into the movie.
Okay.
And maybe you can put some music in the background, like there is music at the beginning and end.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. Those are once
Great
again
tips.
awesome suggestions.
Awesome.
So anyways, that's
Great.
it.
Yeah, what did I tell you? I am awesome.
I'm so going to enjoy this in a couple of years, looking back and just hearing that. So, Kayson, thank you very much
Thanks for coming
for gracing us with your presence.
You're welcome.
Even though it is bedtime and it's about time to go to sleep.
President Criedman, I can get used to that.
Alan, thank you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, President.
Yeah, and myself, Jason, thanks everybody as well. Thanks for listening, guys, and we will see you next week.
See you next week.